Almost 40 years ago, a coal tip disaster took the lives of 116 children. Now, for the first time, and a little later than planned, survivors of the tragedy speak out in an emotional reunion.
At 9:15 a.m. on the 21st of October 1966, life changed forever in the Welsh mining village of Aberfan. A mountain of coal waste collapsed, burying a junior school in the valley below. 144 people died in the disaster. 116 of them were children.
The material came down from the mountain and actually smashed the windows. All the material piled over the side of the room, and I had a little pocket of air that I could breathe in. And a lot of the children who died in my class died because they couldn't breathe.
When your friends died, did you feel sad?
I felt very sad when my friends died because most of my friends had died. So I was very, very sad, yeah. Yeah.
The disaster in one small Welsh village captured the attention of journalists and photographers the world over. Chuck Rapoport, then aged 29, was one of them.
I was living in New York. I had a 6-month-old son. My wife Mary and I had an apartment on 72nd Street. And pretty much remember watching the newsreel films. There's been a terrible disaster in a mining town in Wales. And then from that moment, I went to Life magazine, whom I had a relationship with as a freelance photographer. I saw the managing editor, Ralph Graves, and he didn't have much time for me. He called me into his office and he said, "What's up?" And I said, "Aberfan." I said, "Ralph, I want to go there. I want to live in that town. I want to shoot the pictures of this people and what it's like to be in a town without children." And when I said town without children, he leaned back in his chair and I could see him imagining the story in the magazine. And he said, "Okay, what are you waiting for? Go."
But as Rapoport would discover, some children had survived. Children like 10-year-old Philip Thomas, sent on an errand that may have saved his life.
One of the boys I was in class with didn't have his dinner money because he owed a couple of weeks, and he had to go down to the senior school to get the money off his sister. Then one of the teachers said, would I go with him? And the two of us set off that morning down to the senior school down the bottom. And his sister hadn't arrived that time. There was a few children up on the wall at the gates of the senior school that we were talking to. And we could hear a rumbling. A rumbling noise then, and the boy I was with was Robert, and there was a hell of a noise, like you couldn't see nothing, and he ran one way and I run the other way.
I thought a plane had come down low into the mist and had crashed into the mountainside. I looked up and I saw coming down this huge mass of slurry, boulders, trees, welling down like, you know, if a mountain had opened up and exploded. There were 4 boys in my class, and they were sitting on the junior school wall. Now, instead of them running towards the other end of the village, they ran back towards our school and were caught in the deluge and killed.
I don't know how long I was buried for. It was some time, and then you could hear voices. I was shouting. I was shouting for me mum, like, you know. And then you could hear someone saying, there's someone here, like. And I remember them then taking me out. There was a big piece of wall. Somebody's house was lying across me.
For 50 years, coal waste from the local mine had been dumped on the mountainside high above the village. Now, its structure weakened by underground streams, tip number 7 had collapsed, burying the children and grandchildren of the miners who had dug it out. As news spread, families rushed to the scene, digging with their hands to save their children.
They pulled me out and they put me in an ambulance, eh? The nurses were washing me down, and everywhere they washed, I bled. And the doctor said stop washing, like, because the more they were washing, the more they were opening up wounds and that. Then, what I can remember then is I had long trousers on when I went into the hospital. They were shorts when I got there. When I went to school, they were long trousers, but when I got to the hospital, there was only the top half left of them. My jumper had all ravelled up to here. I always remember asking the nurse where my mother's change was from the dinner money, because I said, if I don't have that, she'll kill me. But
Out of a class of 35 children, Philip Thomas was one of only 2 who escaped death. It was young survivors like him that Chuck Rapoport came to photograph. 40 years on, he's come back to meet them again.
That's the last one.
How much is the congestion charge?
The daily charge is still £8 if you pay in advance or on the day.
Dogs need healthy, strong teeth for their everyday adventures, so keep their mouths in the best of shape with Pedigree Daily Dental Sticks.
Smile. Only O2 gives its pay and go customers free calls Saturday, Sunday and Monday. to anyone on O2. O2 long weekends. Text SMILE to 21300. It's your O2. See what you can do.
What's that then?
Oh, it's a new cereal from Weetabix, but it's made with oats instead of wheat. It's called not made from wheat, made from oats instead of Bix.
Sounds nice.
They should have called it Oatibix.
New Oatibix. It's totally different.
The things I do to hydrate my skin. At least keeping my hair and scalp hydrated's easy.
Head and Shoulders, hydrating, smooth and silky. Now with conditioner. It has 3 hydrating ingredients and leaves you up to 100% flake-free.
Soft, shiny, beautiful hair. Voila!
Head and Shoulders, hydrating, smooth and silky, shampoo and conditioner.
Invent one for my skin, please.
What if you could live in a world of hydration? Your skin so moisturized, so cared for, with a beautiful softness that lasted. Welcome to Johnson's World of Hydration. Johnson's 24-hour moisture body lotion, where skin softness lasts. Created by Johnson's.
These Ryvita minis are to die for. They have loads of full-on flavours, including totally tangy Worcester sauce. And they're only 3% fat.
You're on in 5 minutes, Miss Britton.
Showtime. Ryvita minis. Big taste, mini waste.
The Champions League, live from the Theatre of Dreams. All-conquering Man United can virtually clinch their place in the knockout stages with a victory against Group Minnows Copenhagen. Man United v Copenhagen, Tuesday, 7:30, ITV1.
This was actually the first building that I entered when I came to Aberfan in 1966. We were looking for a place to stay, and they said, well, we have a place upstairs. It's not much, but you're welcome to use it. And there was this freezing room up there, it's like a garret. So I was with Jim Hicks, who was working with me. I walked over to the window up there and I said, come here, Jim, look out here. We can see right on the whole disaster area. And that was pretty ironic that the room that we were in on the 3rd floor of this building overlooked the disaster.
A memorial now stands on the site. A garden that echoes the layout of Pantglas Junior School. Low stone walls mark the classrooms, where so many children died. Aberfan was one of the world's first televised disasters. Private grief was on public view.
I had heard already the attitude of the villagers toward the press was pretty grim. So here I come along, all the press are gone, I'm the only one here. The only thing that saved me, I think, was the fact that I was American. So after a few nights and hanging around the pub, I came down with one camera, like actually this one. And yes, this camera is over 40 years old. And then I would start to take pictures. This camera is a very, very quiet camera. That's all it does. This place is so quiet and so empty, you know. Back then, it was more crowded than it had ever been, and it had to do with the disaster. The fact that these men didn't want to go home. They really didn't want to go home. They came to the pub as they normally would, and they would drink, but then when they really should be going home, they just couldn't get up and go home, because home was a place that was a reminder of all that they lost, all that they were missing. And
there was this deathly silence, and the soul you could hear was the shh, the swish as this slurry went down past the school into the village. And then the aftermath afterwards then, you know. Parents waiting all day long outside with hope. That at somewhere underneath that slurry, their son or daughter was still alive. But to no avail. That just stuck in my mind, that the futility, no avail.
The last child to be rescued alive was found at 11 o'clock that morning.
To me, every child on the street of Aberfan was a survivor of this disaster. And I felt that the image of children was had to be the centerpiece of this story. And one of the people we met was Ronnie Davis's father. And he was a really nice man, and they had lost a son. And you know, he told us how he was living and how his house was destroyed and there was nothing left of it. And Ronnie was going to walk his dog, and his dad said, "Why don't you go take the photographer down to where the house was?" And I was quite taken with Ronnie. He had these glasses and he had a runny nose and he kept sniffing, and that was the first child that was sort of singled out. Ronnie Davis. Hello.
Hello. Pleased to meet you.
That's my wife,
Hello.
Maureen.
Maureen.
Yes,
Hi,
hello.
nice meeting
Lovely
you.
to meet you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
How are you keeping?
I've been keeping pretty good.
Oh, good.
40 years.
I know I've done this a long time. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, same here.
And something else that I still got, which you, when you were...
My writer. Yeah.
You're right.
Jim Hicks.
Yeah, bought for me.
Yeah.
Just before you went back to
Yeah, because
America.
that was Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's only... There's only, as you say, there's only two little bits gone out of it, but it's still all there.
I'm going to have to get a picture of you holding that now. Good. But you lost your brother.
I lost my brother. If you remember, I said to you, why was I saved and not?
Yes. Yes.
And as you told me, think of it as a good thing.
Exactly. And I said there was a reason for you.
Yeah.
That you were spared, that you had to make something of yourself.
Yeah. Well, I do try to make something of myself by working.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can do it.
That's making something of yourself.
Yeah.
He was very broken up when he was a boy about his brother.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm still saying why
right.
him and not me.
Right.
And
yes.
it still do it.
It's a good old age.
How about a hug? You're special for me. You really are.
I think you've been special to him too, because he's always talked about you.
Did he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rapoport didn't get to meet the most seriously injured, because those children, like Philip Thomas, were in hospital for months.
I lost 3 fingers on the right hand. I lost my spleen. and a fractured pelvis. I got numerous scars from my knees to my head. I had skin graft all on the left hand side of my face. My ear was off. They sewed that back on. Whew. The hardest part was accepting I lost my fingers. They were mashed. Dr. Myrick Williams done my hand, and the reason he grafted the finger that way was because it only got that movement, was because if he put it straight, it would literally get in the way. So he done a very, very good job on my hand. But that took a bit of a battering, but you know, I'm yet to tell a story and live the day like. End of November, December, I come out of hospital. Back home with my man.
One of the visual things that stood out to me when I returned to Aberfan was that there was no mine here anymore. And the mine was the center of the life of this village. The big derrick crane that lifted the elevators that the miners went down on